to Level Up with Winnie Sun.
Well, hello, and thank you so much for tuning in. Happy Wednesday to you. Do let me know where you're joining us from. It's wonderful to be here with you. If you're joining us on the replay, a big hello to you as well. Thank you so much for making the time and tuning in. And I hope that you're having a great week so far. Welcome to my friends at Modern Mom as well. Let's let you know how the market closed today. Actually, pretty good news, especially from yesterday. You saw there was definitely some pullback yesterday, some concerns about where inflation was, and of course, how the economy is doing. Now, the Dow closed up 104 points today. NASDAQ also up 14. S&P 500 also up 1. And big tech is definitely back in a big way today. Both Apple and Amazon moved yet higher, and actually topping over 10% in the past month, exceeding the S&P 500's 2.8% return. We'll take it. For those of you who are invested and perhaps more so growth oriented, maybe you have that longer time horizon, this might be good news to you. I don't know. The Fed continued to hold short-term interest rates near zero. This is a report that came out in June, warning that they could be adjusting economic policy, changing rates and whatnot in the months ahead. And that certainly made investors a little nervous, right? We like to have certainty, and certainly also a lot of us are appreciating and maybe even taking advantage of the lower interest rate levels. So just yesterday, in fact, investors were very worried about inflation and concerned that perhaps the economy might be approaching its peak, and that perhaps a correction was coming. So I'm curious to see how you feel about the financial markets. Do you feel like the economy has come back completely? Do you feel like things are getting back to normal? Or do you think that there's still room to grow? And more importantly, are you concerned about where we stand financially? Are you concerned about the economy? Are you concerned about inflation? Those are things that are very important to think about. Now, quick hello and welcome to my friend Vicky. I see Modern Mom here as well. I see so many of you. Thank you so much for tuning in. It's wonderful to have you with us. And I know Vicky is joining us from the UK. What a treat. What a treat. Thank you so much, Vicky, for being here. Well, if you didn't know already, the one and only Jeff Bezos is simply getting quite a bit richer. This is true. This week, the world's richest man reached a record 211, I should say, billion dollar valuation net worth, if you will, after Amazon shares continue to rise over 4.7%. Now, you may have heard this week that the U.S. Pentagon announced that it was canceling JEDI, which is a cloud computing contract with rival Microsoft Corporation. Now, to be honest with you, I wasn't really paying attention to this contract that they were having, but apparently this was a big deal. In fact, Microsoft held this contract for a very long time, and during that time, Amazon continued to get very, very angry, saying that it wasn't fair, and that the fact that they didn't get the contract or partial of the contract was because of reasons outside of normal business evaluation processes. Now, the Pentagon said that it plans to instead of issuing this contract to just one company, like so instead of just Microsoft, that they actually would award this to multiple companies. And this is one of the biggest U.S. government contracts. So this is really, really big money. So instead of a one person, one winner takes all approach, JEDI is saying, okay, for JEDI, we're going to go ahead and award this to multiple companies to handle and make this a new multi-cloud contract. So that being said, interesting enough, it's only really Amazon and Microsoft, as these are the only two companies currently that are able to meet the very strict military guidelines. Yeah, so because of that, the one and only Jeff Bezos is now reporting even more rich, and that spread between him and I guess the second person is just getting higher. You gotta wonder how much good that money would do, how many people that could help. That's just what I've been thinking a lot. But the rally did raise Jeff Bezos' fortune by $8.4 billion, so quite a bit. This is as reported by our friends at Bloomberg. Now, the last time anyone, was getting close was Elon Musk. But let's talk about something else that I know has been in the news significantly in the last few weeks. You heard me talk about it as well, and that's the topic of inflation. And there's also something that's been really tracking the news recently called shrinkflation. Now, if you're not sure what shrinkflation is, well, just think about it. Shrinking, inflation, is this taking over the world? Well, you're hearing a lot about it in the news. And if you haven't, then this is going to be news to you because maybe it's here to stay. So downsizing in shrinkflation really means sort of the same thing. Downsizing and shrinkflation both refer to companies reducing the size or quantity of the things that they sell or products and still charging the same or sometimes even more for these items. So this is one of those really kind of sneaky ways that businesses are able to squeeze in a little bit more profit, right? Because we know that during this process, during the pandemic, a lot of raw goods, the cost of raw goods have increased. And so the consumer obviously is paying a lot of attention to their monthly budgets and whatnot. And of course, to that receipt on how much they spend each time maybe they go to the grocery store or when they fill up the pump. But here's the thing. Now, businesses are getting very smart. They're saying, okay, they're paying attention to our cost per item, but are they paying so much attention to our weight per item, right? So perhaps in the past you were paying, $5 for a loaf of bread, and perhaps now you're still paying, I guess $5 is quite a bit for a loaf. So let's say you're paying $2 for a loaf of bread, but now it's still $2, but instead of, being a certain weight, maybe it's 3/4 that weight. So you're actually paying more now per ounce of goods. So that's shrinkflation. And this is really, really serious. And let's talk about that a little bit because this all has to do with inflation of cost of goods going a lot more expensive. So let's talk about what is inflation. What is inflation? Inflation is the decline of purchasing power of your money over time. So you probably remember what a burger or stamp costs when you were a child versus what it costs today. Obviously, significantly more today. Now, the best way to understand the impact of inflation has on your money is this. In today, what you pay for $200 a month, maybe for groceries, $50 a month for gas, and next year, these same items could cost you $200, $210 or more for groceries per month and $60 or more for gas. Then you're paying more. So unless you're earning more or if your savings that you're using to pay for these goods, right? Either your income has gone higher because that's been adjusted for standard of living or inflation, or your savings that you're earning at least enough to keep up with those inflation levels, then basically, you're losing money on your money, and what your money is worth today is going to be worth less in the future. Now, in normal times, we say that inflation grows at about 2 to 3% per year. However, that's not all. If you are, let's say you're in college or you have kids that'll be attending college, like I've got 3 little ones downstairs, this is going to be a big shocker. Now, according to finaid.org and data from the National Education Statistics, college tuition rates, my friends, will increase at about twice the general inflation rate. In fact, history shows that tuition increases at about 8% per year. So if you use the rule of 72T here, you know that an 8% college inflation rate translates to having the cost of college doubling every 9 years. So just think about that. Like, let's say, your child is 9 years old. Like I have my son is 9 years old. Well, that means the cost of college is going to double by the time he's 18 and getting ready to go to college. It's pretty shocking. This inflation is definitely puts dramatic impact on your future financial goals and making sure that you have enough to cover those expenses. So if you have more than one child who plans to go to college, you can see how quickly this cost can multiply very, very quickly. So now what's the opposite of inflation? That's actually deflation. This is when your purchasing power of money actually increases and the price of goods decline. Now that would be great, right? Then that means the money that we have saved up is worth more. So what causes inflation and why can't the government do a better job keeping inflation in check? Well, you'll have to look very closely at who is actually printing money here. When there's an increase of money in supply, or the government prints more money and increases the money supply, or gives more money to individuals, maybe in the form of stimulus checks, this can cause the devaluation of dollars and reduces your spending and purchasing power. So there are three types of classifications of inflation, actually. These activities include built-in inflation, demand pull inflation, and cost push inflation. So for more information on this, definitely check out Sun Group Wealth Partners. But thank you so much, my friends, for watching, supporting our program, and please take a moment to share the show with someone that you care about. And as a reminder, you can find full episodes of Level Up with Winnie Sun on NASDAQ, Amazon Fire, and Roku. Be well, my friends, and I can't wait to see you again very soon. Take care now.